New rivalry is born, and how could it have been avoided? Ladies and gentlemen, let's delve into Kenny and Anthony, the rivalry that is now set to take center stage next season. And why am I saying that? Why am I saying that Kenny and Anthony's rivalry is about to take center stage? Well, because we're in a bit of a new formula. Oh, sorry. We're in a bit of a new formula. Robbie and Miguel, that hatchet is about to be buried. Sam and Tori, that is on the exit road. And this is the sort of rivalry that I think is going to keep that old school traditional Karate Kid formula going. And before I get into how it could have been avoided and how Anthony and Kenny are more similar to each other than not, is we know that this show has parallels to the original movie. It has that George Lucas effect where it's like, it's like poetry so that they rhyme. Every stanza kind of rhymes with the last one. Been in a real Star Wars mood lately. But essentially, we had Miguel, Robbie, and Sam at the beach in Season 1, at the beach party, echoing and, harking back all the way to Daniel and Johnny at the beach party in Karate Kid, the very first movie. So how poetic would it be that, again, it's Robbie's protege with a LaRusso, continuing that sort of Lawrence LaRusso feud at the beach, but Kenny potentially taking Miguel's place and Anthony taking Robbie's place, like that, or in a way, in a sense. I think if they're, we're approaching summer. I think season 5 is going to predominantly be set in the summer. I think it's very likely that you'll see these two duke it out at the beach, and there will be an All Valley with these two in it next. And I think Anthony and Kenny will be going up against each other. It'll be interesting to see if the rules are changed to where Miguel, Robbie, and Hawk and them lot could compete. But we'll see what happens with that, because as I've said a million times, Miguel and Robbie need a win. They both need a win, and Sam. Them three in particular need a win. Miguel needs a win because he's the champion of the show, it's his show, and Robbie and Sam are bloodline characters. They need a win. I think they're waiting for the right time to do it. But focusing specifically on Kenny and Anthony, from the minute Kenny's introduced, and I remember talking about this in my video about him, he starts out pretty much like how Eli started out. Just your run-of-the-mill nerd. Just, a good kid. Wouldn't hurt a fly. And then he meets Anthony LaRusso and his pack of, dweebs. Tweedledum and Tweedledummasses for all intents and purposes. And what's fascinating about Anthony is you actually see the conflict within him where he doesn't actually want to hurt Kenny. When the 4 of them, or I think the 5 of them, approach Kenny in the dead of night, and they all have him surrounded, and they're like, come on, LAPUSSO, bust out some of that Miyagi shit. He doesn't want to do it. He has this look on his face of hesitation. He's conflicted. And that's his inner LaRusso saying, this isn't right, this isn't what you should be doing. And then they start hitting, Kenny really aggressively. And Kenny's scared. He's terrified. And he's not his brother, but he has some echoes of Sean. While Sean is the big and strong one, Kenny is fast. And that's what Robbie extracts from him. He says, instead of using your speed to run away from them, run at them. And when he lands that punch on Kyler in the dojo, he pulled up on him fast. And I mean fast. That was quick. And I think Kenny, going toe-to-toe with most of the Cobra Kai fighters in the show that we've had since Season 1, is purely speaking volumes of where he's going to go. I think Kenny and Anthony have a lot of potential going forward. And dare I say it, I think Anthony has more potential in terms of Miyagi-Do than Sam does. And the reason I say that, and I brought it up on a recent stream, is I feel like Sam has such an inclination and such a drive to strike first. She will take more of a shine to Chozen's way of Miyagi-Do. And I think Anthony LaRusso really needs classic Miyagi-Do to teach him some balance and give him some discipline. And that's also where Chozen comes in. Chozen coming to the Valley will be the perfect sensei to get Anthony into tip-top shape. And I think this season we were rooting for Kenny. I think next season we might actually be rooting for Anthony. I wouldn't be shocked. I know it's hard to swallow, but, I genuinely believe that's what could happen. I think you might see Kenny descend even worse, especially with Silver there, in his ear, Robbie not there. Kenny's going to get progressively worse. And I always wanted the Quicksilver method to go to Robbie. I wanted Silver to use that hatred that Robbie had against Miguel, against his father. But it could very well be that Kenny gets the Quicksilver method. That Kenny's anger and rage is something that Silver can manipulate. And I think this is going to tie into Robbie's long-term redemption. And it's going to have Sean involved as well. Where eventually, I do see a world by the end of Season 5. Robbie won't be in Cobra Kai by then. I think Kenny will go where Robbie goes. But for Season 5 at least, I could see Kenny falling victim to Silver's, evil, dastardly plot and be used against Robbie. And it will put Robbie in the same position that he was against his father, against Miguel, against everything. Again, another full circle. And seeing how Anthony has gone from this kind of, loser to still being a loser, but having some shades of, moral center within him. And I think one scene that sticks out to me in particular is when Daniel and him are talking in the back of the house, and he's reading the scroll after having that memory of the LARUSSO thing, where he says it plainly. I never knew Miyagi. I never knew him. Now, imagine this. You grew up in a family, right, that is famous in the Valley. Absolutely famous for being known as LARUSSO, Miyagi-Do karate. And you never even knew the guy. And then you've got your sister, who has constantly trained and basically been looked at as the golden child. Anthony has been neglected from day one. And it's that kind of nuance that I really enjoy, because it plants the seed so much for where Anthony can go in the future. And Daniel drops this little nugget of information that is so key. When Daniel says, you kicked Miyagi in the face when he held you in his arms. You're the only person to ever land a kick on him. And no one could land a kick on Miyagi. If Anthony could land a kick on him, that's a good sign of where Anthony could be going in terms of future. Now, obviously for this season, him and Kenny will be going at it. But I think with the way things are going between Robbie, Miguel, Johnny, Kreese, and Daniel, I don't see their rivalry lasting anything longer than Season 5. I think it could be buried. I think there's a lot of potential there. And Robbie will say to Kenny, look, don't do this. I've been in this position. It's not worth it. It's going to end. What's going to happen is it's going to end when one of you goes over a railing, and you might be the one pushing the person over a railing. And ding ding. But you all heard that. Sorry. Ruined the immersion. But I think going forward, it's going to be fascinating to see how this rivalry takes center stage, because it's not like, we've had these characters for... Well, we've had these characters for long, but we've only just started to get to really know Anthony now. And Kenny, we've bonded with over a whole season. This rivalry is going to be front and center like never before, because all the other rivalries are about to be buried. This is a transitional period. And there is so much more in common with Anthony and Kenny than one would think. And a big problem for Anthony, as much as his intentions at the end of Season 4 were valid, and, he was trying to make amends and say to Kenny, look, I'm sorry, you got to look at it from Kenny's perspective. He's had these people harassing him since the minute he joined. He was a good, sweet kid that has now been corrupted by Cobra Kai's evil teachings, and has pretty much become everything that Robbie never would have wanted him to be. And even Sean, I know everyone's expecting Sean to join Cobra Kai so willingly, and he might do, but I don't think Sean's going to like the fact that his little brother has now turned into a cold, callous little fighter. I don't think he's going to like that. Sean's the kind of guy that... He strikes me as the older brother where he's like, look, I'll do the evil stuff, but you're the good brother. You're the one that has everything going for you. You're the one that mum and dad want to be better. You can be. If Sean sees that, I don't think he's going to like that one bit. And at first, Silver might use that as fuel against Robbie. But post-Season 5, I can see that being worked out when Robbie comes back to the Valley after the Mexico thing is dealt with. And Robbie and Kenny's bond this season is one of the highlights of it, where Kyla's harassing Kenny, and then Robbie's like, you know what, give me a Butterfinger. It's like, there's just moments like that they have across the season that are just so beautiful and strong. And then you have Hawk harassing Kenny. Robbie doesn't even hesitate to go and square up to him. Anthony doesn't have any of that. Anthony has fallen victim to peer pressure. It's like when he sat there playing Dungeon Lord, and they're cyber-trolling Kenny, unbeknownst to Kenny. And they say, hey, what do you like to do? Oh, Dr. Scribblebottoms. And then they lure him to the park. It's almost like Anthony's doing this, not just for attention, but to make him feel like... to make himself feel like he matters. When you come from a family of the LaRussos, where Sam is the golden child, everyone looks at you like a Miyagi-Do connoisseur, and you're not. Even their own family member said it to them. The one played by Julia Macchio said that, why do you love your daughter more than your son? And it's true. It's because they don't care about Anthony. They've neglected him from day one. He's got all of his information and life and history from the internet rather than his actual parents. And that speaks volumes of the relationship that Anthony has with them. There's a moment where Anthony pays the guy to clean the cars at the back of Miyagi-Do, and while he's wrong for doing so, it's Daniel's response afterwards that really cements the problem. when Daniel just says to him, just go back to playing your video games. It tells you, if you hear something like that on repeat, if you constantly hear the same thing on repeat, eventually you're going to start to believe it. And maybe Anthony believes he's just a piece of shit. Maybe he's destined to be nothing more than what he is. And it's only once he starts learning a bit of the Miyagi-Do way, he starts to feel bad and feel responsible for what he's done, and realize what he's done. And not only that, after Kenny, you know, laying a smackdown on his ass, if it wasn't for Robbie getting involved. And shout out to Dallas Young, the acting in his face when he grabs Anthony, right, and he says, get ready for high school next year, because you're going to be in a world of pain. And then that smile, I was like, God, Joker vibes. I was like, yeesh. If you look at where he started from Season 1 to where he is now, and then even fighting Robbie in the All Valley, he has this anger in his face that Robbie saw and didn't like. It wasn't Robbie's intention. That fed into Robbie's arc. But these two characters, Anthony and Kenny, they have a lot of potential going forward. That's why their rivalry will take center stage. And I really believe this, that Robbie, Miguel, Sam, Tori, they're going to reach out to these two to try and end this beef. If they can. It depends how much they've got to focus on Silver, because Silver is going to be #1 threat. But characters like Sean and Kenny, I don't think they're going to stay in Cobra Kai forever, just because they're too grey-centered. I want people in Cobra Kai now who are evil. Absolutely evil. I want hired guns, hired mercenaries, a full dojo full of Mike Barnes people. People like that have no remorse, no regard for other people, and that isn't Kenny. That isn't Sean. And even Kyler to an extent. Kyler will go where Tori goes, and Tori will go where Kreese goes. So it's the, as my man King would say, the art of war. There will definitely be a scene, like in Season 2, where Daniel confronts Johnny in the dojo, where those students start, like Chris, start to leave and go and join Miyagi-Do. Something similar will happen. Kreese will go to that dojo, Tori will go with him, Kyler will go with him, and Kreese won't really care about Kenny too much. He'll say Mr. Payne, but the only reason he'll say it is because he knows Kenny means something to Robbie, and he cares about Robbie. Kenny will make the choice to stay in that dojo. Kyler's been a jerk to him. Tori and him don't really have anything to, you know, there's no real mentorship there. So Silver in that dojo will entice Kenny more than before, and it will send him down an even darker path than he was going initially. And Anthony next season is probably going to have scenes with his sister Sam, about time. He's going to have more scenes with Daniel, because Daniel can't teach anymore, so he can... there's nothing in the rules that said Daniel couldn't teach his son. And father-son time is absolutely what needs to happen between Miguel, Johnny and Robbie, and Daniel and Anthony. It is a must. And this rivalry is just about to kick off. So, could it last beyond Season 5? Maybe. But I don't like to go that far ahead. I think it's definitely in the line for Season 5. But I just feel it's such a shame, because if these two had met under different circumstances, they would be friends. They would absolutely be friends. And it's just such a shame that it's gone this way for them. Guys and girls, jump in the comment section down below. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know if you agree with any of the points I've raised. And give me your thoughts on Kenny and Anthony's arc. And I keep thinking of that locker scene where it's such a beautiful scene. I love it. I might have to do a video on it. Where Kenny's like, you know, you're going to be in a world of pain, which has two meanings. And then Robbie's like, you know, oh my God, this isn't how I trained you. It's Cobra Kai. Like father, like son. It's literally Johnny and Miguel from Season 1. And then the score. Shout out to the composers. The score that plays in the offset once Kenny leaves. And then Robbie tries to help Anthony up. And Anthony's just like, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. And runs off. And then the look on Robbie's face and the score's just playing off. Oh, God, I had chills. And it's just the culmination of everything that this show is about. And Kenny and Anthony are next up. Guys and girls, I'll see you down in the comment section below. Marching forward to 7k subs. And I think by the time this video uploads, there will be the Suicide Squad watch party this weekend. So make sure you are there. And, well, if it being a Kenny and Anthony video, I don't know what to give it as a tagline. Just because it's... oh, God, whatever, LAPUSSO. There you go.